Are live. What is going on, guys? It is Ahmed, and we're back. Actually, not really back. This is the first ever episode of the Off the Chain. I don't know if we want to call it a podcast. Are we going to call it the podcast?
Yeah, I guess you might as
Yeah,
well.
podcast. Yeah, I think that works. That fits.
Yeah, or the show. It's going to be very interesting. You will notice, probably for those of you who are just clicking in, that it says that this stream or video is sponsored. And yes, that is true. We are actually sponsored by the Mean Tomato token. And we're going to give time for the developer to speak about that in about 15 minutes or so. So, again, make sure you guys stay tuned throughout the night. We're going to discuss all things related to crypto. Today, specifically about the metaverse. And we're going to discuss real estate, Saitarealty, and also virtual real estate. So within the metaverse, Shiba lands and things alike. So
Yeah,
welcome
and
everyone.
I'm just gonna add, like, with us having a sponsor, I think the idea here is that, with crypto, with all of this, with blockchain, it is very community driven. So we also wanted to open up a platform allowing these communities to come and show like their community. Like these aren't companies that we've vetted, right? These aren't tokens we vetted ourselves. We're just showing them a platform, giving them like their 5 minutes to give their elevator pitch. So like we're not, we might not have done our due diligence or whatnot, but it's just a platform to hear from the community and just set the stage. Just wanted to mention that as well.
Good call. Yeah, absolutely. So again, as always, make sure whenever you're investing into any crypto asset, that you do your research, do your DD on all things related. So, and remember, guys, this is a brand new channel. So hopefully we'll get some traction throughout the night. It's going to be super interesting the first time that we're doing this. So the first thing I wanted to kind of start us off with is get Rigor Mortis and Everything Meta's perspective on the Shiba land plots that were officially announced yesterday. So 99,000 plots of land in the metaverse, as stated here on this Benzinga article. So let's go ahead and dive right in, guys. What are you guys' thoughts about the amount of land that's going to be available in the Shiberse? And yeah, let's go from there.
I think I'll let Meta take a stab at it first, since this is his expertise, so to speak.
I like it.
Oh, you broke up. What'd you say?
I said I'll go ahead and let you take a spin at
Okay.
it, since this is your expertise.
I was just trying to remember how much land Sandbox and Decentraland have. But no, regardless, I think this is really exciting. I think this is a really good time. It's to keep bringing more catalysts. I think we, like, with the market being down overall, just down, I think we need to keep seeing progress being made. And I think this is super exciting. I think this is going to build the community, make it much stronger with the plot of land. Because, the plot of land, the idea here is that, and this goes back to what I said a few minutes ago about the community built, is that I'm pretty sure it's gonna be land. It's gonna be scarce. There's gonna be nothing built on it. Like the developers aren't wasting their time and developing things on it. They're not making buildings or trees or whatever it may be. It's just land, and then whoever owns it, it's your opportunity to build on it. The community is gonna be the one that makes this what it is. And Shiba Army is strong. They're huge. So I think Shiba Army is going to pull through. I think if they take this seriously and they go ahead and develop on these lands, I think we can see a lot going on. Especially when I think about the success that Sandbox and Decentraland has had. They've had a lot of celebrities come through, like Snoop Dogg. They've had a lot of big name brands as well coming in, like Nike, Adidas, a lot of these big brands, because those brands now recognize that there's a lot of foot traffic there, and they want to come and advertise to their folks, to like people on the metaverse. So if this becomes appealing enough and people build on it, then we can see a lot of foot traffic. We can see other people starting to get involved and want to get into this metaverse. That's what excites me. I think there's a lot of potential. It just it's up to us now to kind of take it from here. Once it's all developed, it's up to us to build it to become really something amazing that everyone wants to come and meet at. And other than that, it's great that it's another opportunity for Shib, Leash, Bone, the whole ecosystem. Because you're able to utilize this here. I don't know if like there's gonna be a play to earn aspect to it as well, where you can earn tokens for games inside this metaverse, inside Shiberse. That'd be something interesting for me to look into as well. But yeah, I'll pass it to Rigor Mortis. What about you? What do you think?
Yeah, I think you really hit the nail on the head there. What this underscores for me, and this is what I love the most about this development team, guys, is the fact that they are always in it with the times. Whenever NFT started becoming really popular, guess what? we had our own set of NFTs. And now everybody, and I know I've reiterated this so many different times, but everyone is foaming at the mouth when it comes to the metaverse. And that is truly going to be the future. The future is digital. We are going to be interacting and living out our lives in the metaverse. And that's what makes something like this so special, because not only does it make us involved, it gets us involved in something that's mainstream, but it allows those that are interacting with the mainstream to get involved with the Shiba Inu ecosystem. And that's what I like about this. You asked specifically about the fact that it's 99,000 plots. And I know Everything Meta had some things to say about this in the video that he posted about the Shiberse. For me, I think that's a really reasonable number, because it's big enough to where people can truly get involved without having those sky high price tags, but it's just scarce enough to where those that really want that exclusivity within the metaverse and having the bragging rights of saying, hey, look, I have a plot of land in the Shiberse, it is just that sweet spot, if you ask me. So I am super excited for the future of the Shiberse. I think it's going to be one of those things where how institutions are going to get involved, because you got to remember something. At the end of the day, a lot of these institutions have looked into cryptocurrency as a way to advertise their platform. And this is absolutely not an old video by Your Pop. We are live, BL. This is not an old video by Your Pop. We are as live as it gets. We are here, BL. Don't worry.
Yeah, this is just a new channel that we're streaming on. So I just wanted to make sure to show your comment that yes, this is me in the flesh, and we have everybody here. So
yeah, no, we're live. So but that's a good point. Glad that person brought that up. But anyway, yeah, so like I was saying, these institutions that are getting involved in the metaverse, they are seeing it as an opportunity to really spread their name. So in that sense, imagine the reach that you will be able to get by garnering attention in the Shiberse, in the Shiba Inu metaverse. You are reaching all of those, hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people that are invested in the Shiba Inu ecosystem. And in that way, I think we are going to get a lot of popularity in the institutional investors.
absolutely. No, I mean, again, I think you guys really just covered it all, and in agreement with that. I think it's interesting how they're proposing how these lands are going to actually be sold, this bidding system. So I want to get your guys' take on, I'm just reading here from this Benzinga article directly. A huge shout out to Benzinga, great group of guys. 35,000 plots of land will be released during the first phase during a 10-day event and be sold through a bidding system. So, again, when it comes to the sandbox right now, at the very beginning, when it first launched, or Decentraland, there was really, again, no real way to price a certain plot of land. Now it's, we want to be in this area because it's a more expensive location, based off size. Yes, then you can kind of determine. But what if you end up buying a piece of land, bidding on one, and then, who knows? Snoop Dogg decides, hey, I want to buy land on the Shiberse, but it ends up being, I don't know, let's just say virtually 10 miles away, super far from your location. So then that's going to ultimately kind of, dictate the intrinsic value of your piece of land. So what's your guys' take on this bidding system? Because I feel like there has to be more structure before you can really value these things. But what's your take?
I will say I do appreciate that it's like you're not releasing 99,000 island plots of land at one time. There is a benefit to kind of doing a slow rollout, which is what Sandbox and Decentraland did. Like they're still rolling out till this day, I believe, additional property as time goes on, because I don't know, it's just it's a method to just garner hype over time and get people excited about it over time. Like if you have a limited amount, everyone's gonna want to get their hands on it. Want to be one of the first people to get on it. And whoever whoever is one of the first people to get on it is probably, I'm not sure what the price will be, but I'm sure they're going to be serious about it, where they're going to want to build more, unless they're just thinking about flipping it, of course. But I would think that I don't know. I think it's good, and also it's good that it's rewarding current holders as well, rewarding folks that have Shiboshi. This is, I guess, a utility that comes out of a lot of these platforms as well. It's a benefit to owning a lot of these different things, is that getting first pick on some of these projects as well, such as this.
Absolutely, 100%. And then I see Jazz Royce, fellow content creator, says, "What's up, fellas? How are you doing, my man? Hope you're well." exciting. It's a new venture here, so this is pretty cool stuff. We're enjoying it for sure. But good to see you, man. But yeah, I really liked your take, Meta. And how about you, Rigger? You got anything to add?
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. This is again reiterating the fact that these guys are buying into the whole ecosystem, and the fact that the first 35,000 plots of land are going to be locked behind folks that are holding leash. It kind of reiterates that even more because it goes to show you like, hey, we made all of these tokens, we made the whole ecosystem, and we're not going back on our word where we're saying, hey, if you're holding leash, you're not going to get exclusive access. Because something you got to remember, each of these tokens within the ecosystem plays a very specific role, and leash, or the Doge killer, is that role of exclusivity. It makes it so that you're able to get into some of these things that are going to be built out in the ecosystem early. We saw it happen with the Shiboshis, where you had to have leash in order to mint Shiboshis, and we're seeing it again now with the Shiberse. So I like the direction that they're taking. I think they hit the nail on the head with this one, with showing how leash is that exclusive token, granting you access to some things that leash holders don't have.
Yeah, and if you provide it to these supporters, not just anybody, like I think that's gonna have stronger support to begin with. Like you're not gonna have people, you're gonna have diamond handlers essentially. You're not gonna have people who are just looking to flip it. They're probably
Right.
here for the long term if they're so involved to the point where they have leash.
Right. And there was a problem with the Shiboshi's launch. I don't know if you guys remember, but we saw leash just absolutely skyrocket during the launch or the minting of the Shiboshis, and then thereafter that it actually crashed quite a bit. And I think that's something that the team recognized. And if I was reading into things correctly, they're going to have it so that if you want to buy these plots of land on the Shiberse, you're actually going to have to lock your leash for a period of time. However, and then you're going to be able to buy the plots of land actually using Ethereum. So you'll need leash. You'll have to lock your leash in order to buy the plots, but you'll actually use Ethereum. So we don't see this huge, pump and then crash when it comes to leash.
Gotcha. Yeah. I see. No, I think that is because we saw. I think the Shiboshis is like kind of the prime example, right, for what occurred with Leash's price action right after the full minting. It just crashed and burned, and that was rough to see. But as Satoshi kept mentioning, if I was in everyone else's position, I'd probably hold on to your leash tokens. So yeah. But one last thing that I wanted to mention about Shib prior to moving on, or maybe taking some. If you guys, by the way, if you have questions in the audience, guys, it's a very intimate live stream of 36 people. So shout out to the 36 of you that are here. Make sure you smash that like button, and also consider subscribing. We're going to be bringing content at least 2 days a week, Wednesdays and Sundays. But in addition, we just want to continue to have fun. And also,
Yeah,
guys, we're open to anything. If you want to join us on the stream and you're just chilling, feel free to, say something. So I think that make it a lot more interactive and fun. But one last thing I wanted to mention about Shiba Inu is this burn portal that was announced last night during the Twitter space. So you guys know with Watcher Guru, and for those of you who are tuning in just now for the first time throughout the night, Watcher Guru and Shiba Inu did an AMA last night where they talked about Shiba lands. In addition, though, there was a mention regarding this burn portal that they're creating. And, just pretty much going down this article, it said the big thing that they want to start implementing, because right now we rely solely on community burns, right? Through different utilities externally from the Shiba Inu development team or this DAO that they've created. Everybody else has been doing burns. I myself, for example, the merch store that I launched a while back, we were burning 25% of every single purchase was being so what basically I was doing, I was buying Shiba Inu and then sending it to the burn address. So the thing is yes, there has been utility burns, and yes, with the Shiboshi renaming, there were burns, but now they're talking about this new burn portal where basically, again, they're going to create a way to start burning tokens outside of just the community. So what are your guys' thoughts on Shiba Inu burns? Is it a must? Because some developers that I've spoken with say that these burns are nothing but a community's way to think it's going to affect price action. Ultimately, it really doesn't. But what's your guys' take on that? And I see Bree in the chat too. Shout out to Bree.
Yeah, when it comes to burns, this is a super, super, super hot topic of debate. And, there are people on both sides of the spectrum. There are people that think burns are absolutely necessary because, just based off of tokenomics, you could get I don't want to call it an artificial pump in the price, but you can get an increase in the price without necessarily affecting the market cap. And that's what makes burns so interesting. But when it comes to a token like Shiba Inu, it really has to be done in the right way, because you guys have to remember something. Shiba Inu was made to be abundant on purpose. It's supposed to be the people's token. It's supposed to have a relatively low price. You know, it's not supposed to get up to 10, 100, $1,000. It's supposed to have a lot of decimals in it because, you know, it is the people's token. It's supposed to be purchasable by everyone everywhere. But nonetheless, I do think burns are important because, you know, we've gotten to a point now where you start looking at Shiba Inu and you start to recognize, you know, how much more can we really increase that market cap? I still think we have a lot of upside, but when it comes to SHIB, you have to truly look at the way that it's been moving recently. And I've been mentioning this a lot in my videos. It's moving very, very closely with the broader market, particularly Ethereum. And that to me means, hey, even if we have all of these good catalysts that are in the pipeline, we are stunted in our growth due to the fact that we have such a high market cap, and the fact that we are moving so closely with the broader market. It just makes it so that even if we have those really banger catalysts, we really don't have a whole lot of upside. That being said, I do think that we are going to eat at least a zero in this coming year. I think we're going to get to around a $60 billion market cap. That's the projection that I've been saying in my videos. And I think that we are going to get there. But it also depends heavily on whether or not we see a big crypto market recovery. And that's where things start getting a little bit messy, because yeah, I think we're going to hit that 60 billion. But again, we need to watch Ethereum, we need to watch Bitcoin and see if they're going to jive with us and kind of take us there. But apart from that, that's why a lot of people are saying, hey, if we institute token burns and do it in the right way, then we don't have to rely so heavily on that increase in market cap. So for me, any type of burn is a good burn. But like I said, with Shiba Inu, it has to be done in the correct way. And I think burns through utility, like Shaitoshi and the rest of the development team have been stressing, that is going to be key. Because if you have burns through utility, that makes it so that you're not just burning your tokens to burn your tokens, but there's a reason behind and there's a way behind how those tokens are being burned, not necessarily just sending them to some burn address or something like that, but a true utility behind that burn. I really like the way they did it with the Shiboshis. You had to burn a little bit of Shiba Inu in order to change the name, for example. That is true utility burn in my opinion. So if we can have some of those things start to make themselves more apparent, I think that'll be good for the future of SHIB.
100%. I agree. And I think the most important aspect of burns is what it does for the community, right? Because you guys remember when the recount occurred, the amount of FUD that happened. Because if we look back at the chart, the real reason that we saw the initial tumble end of October for SHIB was honestly because of the coin market FUD, the coin market cap. A lot of the time when we were looking at circulating supply, that was a big deal for investors. So I think the biggest and most important thing with these burns is how happy it makes the community. They like having that psychological understanding that, oh, the less supply, right? People base it off supply demand curves, but inevitably, I mean, sentiments and other things really take precedence. I think when it comes to price action, supply has a minor contribution in my opinion. But again, as long as it's not inflationary like Dogecoin, where you have to have X amount of buys coming in each and every day for your price to sustain itself, deflationary to a certain extent, or even just sustaining its circulating or float, the circulating supply, that's ultimately what you want to see in any asset, in my opinion. But that's just me. Everyone can have their own thoughts and opinions about burns, but yeah, that's kind of my take. How about you, Meta? You got anything for burns?
Yeah, no, I was gonna say, yeah, I mean, I feel like the impact isn't huge, but definitely agree with Rigor Mortis's point on, you know, tying it with utilization for sure. But curious to hear if you guys think, what about like, the way I think about it, if it's time in a good time, like if it's used as a way to help soften the blow whenever the markets are kind of down. It's like timing it then. It's like, you know, the markets are heading down, you know, we burn a little bit then to kind of, you know, bring the price up a little bit, help us not hit those resistance points. This is, yeah, you mentioned something to help people get more confidence.
Yeah.
You think that's a better timing for burns to happen?
I definitely think so. I think the burn and buyback mechanism is my personal favorite.
Yeah.
Like what the Inuyasha folks do with like Cliff, for example. You know, they not only they burn, but they use some of the funding or a reflection to buy back some of the tokens, which is going to help the chart, and burn, which again gives the community some, you know, that positivity that you're looking for. So I do think it's definitely a better thing to do during a downtrending market instead of an uptrend. All right, and we are actually 5 minutes behind for our sponsor of the day. So, guys, today, for those of you who are tuning in for the first time, we mentioned it earlier on the stream, but we are, as a part of this new streaming channel, again, we're not monetized on YouTube. We're not doing anything in terms of, financially. And one of the big things that we talked about together off stream is we want to implement giveaways for the community, giveaways for the viewers that are coming each and every day. We're figuring out exactly how to approach that. But one way to do that, of course, is funding. So I've been personally reaching out, and I know the other guys have been reaching out to potential sponsors. And so today's sponsor is actually Mean Tomato. And I'm smiling because, again, you guys might already have visited the website or looked at their chart. But again, it's a brand new token on the crypto blockchain. And funny enough, I've been really interested in a lot of these, what you call stealth launches that are coming out each and every day. Like, for example, if you guys recall Cheddar, right? Cheddar token that released, and Bree's in here. Bree was talking about how, I think, who was I talking to? Jake or someone. Basically, she put in X amount of investment, a few $100s, which if she would have held to the all-time high for Cheddar token, yes, Cheddar, like I'm talking cheese, this thing went to, goodness, I don't know. I believe it at all-time highs, it might have got to a $400,000 investment from a few $100 initial investment, which is absolutely insane. So the crypto market does offer some really volatile, insanely volatile assets. But with that being said, also some potential. Remember, this is a paid sponsorship from Mean Tomato. So a huge shout out to one of the co-founders and developers. They're going to come speak to you guys now to tell you a little bit about the project. And we'll give them a few minutes here, and then we'll come back, talk about Saitama through the rest of the stream. So Dr. Vile, I'm going to add you to the stream here. I see you're muted, so please feel free to unmute, and we'll go ahead and talk about Mean Tomato.
Great. Yeah. Thanks for having us. Can you hear me well?
Absolutely. You sound Krispy Kreme.
Yeah. Awesome. So yeah, Mean Tomato, we have like a really good, you mentioned Clifford and whatnot, but we have like a really exciting contract that
You're cutting in and out a little bit. Can you hear? Yeah, we can't hear you right now for some reason. You're cutting out just a little bit. Actually, not a little bit. You're cutting out completely, to be honest.
Yeah, I can't hear him at all.
If you can hear us, we can't hear you. So while maybe you're figuring out your microphone, I'm just going to quickly go over Mean Tomato's website. Because again, I think it is funny. And mind you guys, this token literally launched 4 days ago. And really, to be 100% honest, I haven't invested myself in it yet. I might, again, as a gamble, if you will, put some money into it. But this is their website, Mean Tomato, or Mean Tomato, as he pronounced it. The meanest meme coin known to man. I don't know, again, anything about the development team too much, but you can see that they have a burn mechanism. So they call it the buried, the fertilizer for marketing, the fertilizer fund, the water or liquidity, and the Yamato, the buyback, which is absolutely amazing because that's what we look for, right? Hyper deflationary assets typically tend to perform really well, at least in the short term. This makes me laugh. So anywho, going through Meta's laugh makes me laugh. This is hilarious to me. But anywho, going through the roadmap, you guys could see like they really don't. This is too funny. Guys, this is happening because you guys can see Cheddar is listed here. And I'm gonna pull up Cheddar's. Meta should mute because your laugh is contagious. This is why I prefer doing solo videos for those of you who don't know. But anywho, so there we go. So Cheddar, I'm gonna pull up Cheddar's price action. You can see Shinja they have on here. They basically want to compete with all of these because how did all of these tokens initially launch? Literally as a meme. Even Shiba Inu when it initially launched. And you guys can have your own take on it. But I do believe 100% they launched with literally, if you looked at their V1 wolf paper or you looked at anything, it was nothing but a meme. And a lot of these different crypto assets start out as just that, 100% a meme. So you can see they have Doge, Shiba, and all the things that they want to basically compete with. And there's not much meat on the potatoes. If you're looking for utility, you're looking for, a massive token with a big use case, then this is not really the space for you, obviously. But if you're looking for something speculative with potential, this could be it. And you could see the different the meme team. That's what's meme. If it doesn't make you laugh, then you're probably not doing it right. So Rude Dude is the CEO, Miss Nasty. Again, Dr. Vile, the COO, is the one who's on the stream with us. I don't know if you can hear us at all yet, or can you try speaking? Still nothing. Not sure what's going on with his mic. And Senior Surly, hilarious, man. I don't know. I got a good laugh out of that. And
Yeah, I'm saying
looking-
it's all just community driven. Like I'm on their Telegram right now. There's hundreds of people there. It's amazing. Like it's just like I'm laughing because it's just like it's incredible like how the community built around this thing.
Absolutely. And let's see what Jazz says. Now we just have to find that next gem that'll moon like once the market flips. That's from Jazz. And you're seeing a lot of you can see their community all over the chat today. And again, we only have about 41 people on the stream with us today, but you can see Crypto Tomato says, watch the gains. Again, guys, this is what's fun about crypto to me. Like the fact that you could crack up, like literally, I just had the best laugh that I've had probably in a couple weeks, just because, this is what it's all about. Bringing people together, joke about something, but those who continue to laugh and just sit on the sidelines might miss out on some pretty fun or interesting opportunities. So what I want to look at.
Yeah. And I was gonna you have a team here that's like putting this all together. Like they're all making this material. They're all putting this together. Then you have people. I really appreciate the community side of it. Like it's just
Right.
without the community, none of this would be possible.
100%, 100%. And we're going to pull up Cheddar token here because I want to show you guys like what happens when meme excels or what happens when memes are successful. Cheddar is one of those examples and how fast it happened too. This is a token that was launched beginning of January. Between the beginning of January and beginning of February. So in less than a month's time, this thing went to over, I don't know exactly what it was. And maybe some of you guys that are here viewing probably know exactly what it was at. But I believe it got to a $2 billion market cap, if I'm not mistaken. Somewhere around there, maybe 3 billion. That's just unheard of in any other market outside of crypto. You can't see an asset go up that fast, that quickly. So that means for every dollar you put in, I don't know, that's 10,000x, maybe more, 100,000. I don't know. But again, the only place you can find these kind of opportunities is in crypto. And again, shout out to Mean Tomato for sponsoring today's video. Just their website.
And did you see the game tab? There's like an actual game. I don't know if you got a chance to check it out.
Oh, I didn't.
But like it's pretty cool. Like they actually
Mean
built a
Tomato
game.
Pac-Man?
Yeah, and it's a competition where I think I wish Dr. Mal would have been able to speak more to this, but it's incorporated the community where winner, like whoever has the highest score like wins. I think,
I'm playing right now.
Like
Hold on.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah. So there's a lot in the behind the scenes getting put into this.
You're kidding me. Hold on.
Yes. It says right here, first place gets 40% of the buyback wallet. Second place gets 25% of the buyback wallet, and it keeps going on from there up to where the 10th place gets 1% of the buyback wallet.
I just got 28. Dude, this is crazy.
If you want free money, just keep playing this game, get the high score, and you'll get a buyback.
Dude, this is insane. All right, I'm about to lose on purpose just so we can continue. Oh, I just got eaten by Chib. That is insane, guys. I don't know. At least go play Mean Tomato for the at the very least. That is pretty dang cool. Shout out to them, man. And I wish the developer's microphone was working a little better to give him a chance. Rigor Mortis, what's your take, man?
Yeah, in my opinion, a lot of the tokens that we're seeing gaining a lot of traction these days do have meme origins, so you never really know. And of course, the important thing is to go out and do your own research and make sure that you're comfortable with your own investment and the risk that you're willing to take. But if I'm being honest with you, we really don't have a formula for success right now. There's nothing. There's no real formula that's working. Everybody is doing something a little bit different, and everybody is seeing different types of success. So you never really know. Mean Tomato can be one of those things where, people have a good laugh when looking at it or talking about it, but it could have enormous success, and everybody would just be completely shocked. That's what happened with Shib. That's what happened with a lot of these other meme tokens in the space. So you never really know, honestly.
Right. And I was reading the comments. Patrick said that the buyback wall is at 3 ETH right now. So if you play that game and you get first place,
there you go.
You get 40% of that. That's 1.2 ETH right there just for playing a game.
And I'm not. And that game, that game looked really fun.
Yeah.
Oh
I
my
mean,
God.
I was a big fan of Pac-Man back in the day, so shoot,
Oh, yeah.
I
Yeah.
might take a crack at it.
Honestly, yeah, if we weren't streaming, I would definitely keep playing. But I see
Seriously.
also a message from Ahmed Mustafa, and he says, "We've got the cheese and now tomatoes. Do you anticipate this is a long-term plan to release the joint burger token?"
That's a good idea.
Hey, that's not a bad idea at all. I mean, guys, what if we make a burger token? I'm just kidding. We're not gonna make a token, folks. But hey, if you're trying to think ahead, maybe vegetable. Well, the vegetables are here, so tomatoes. The cheese was made. Maybe patties next, and then followed by the
Buns.
full-on
No, you gotta get a
burger.
bun. You gotta get a
Oh
bun
yeah,
in there.
yeah, bun token. I kid you not. Watch within an hour after the stream, bun
Oh yeah,
token's gonna be out.
absolutely.
Oh man, that's too funny. Huge shout out to me, Tomato. Sorry, Dr. Val, that your microphone didn't work for the stream, but it was honestly a pleasure. And it's exciting that you guys have a game out too. So big congratulations on all the success so far. Your chart looks pretty decent, but we'll see where it goes from here. And now what we need to talk about is Saitama a bit. Let me get Dr. File. I'm sure there's so much more. And if you want to learn more, by the way, guys, there's links in the description for everything because they sponsored the video, their website, their Twitter, their Telegram, and then go talk to the community to learn more about the Mean Tomato token. Let's talk about Saitama. Saitama, one of the most interesting tokens, I believe, in the market right now. Because honestly, man, just so much you could talk about with Saitama. I love Saitama. I've been a part of Saitama since way back when it was here, literally nothing, beginning of July. You can go back and watch my videos, but I just want to get your guys' take on Saitama, Saitarealty that is launching soon, which I had a complete misunderstanding for. So I'll actually go on Twitter while you guys are kind of just talking about the token. And you guys can tell me a little bit more about your story and your conviction with Saitama. And finally, Saitamask that is officially working 100%. So, yeah. Maybe Rigger, you could start us off.
Sounds good. Excuse me. Yeah, I think, I too was an early investor in Saitama, and I think Saitama gets a really bad rap for really no reason. When Saitama first came on the scene, a lot of people were spreading a lot of FUD and hate because I think people were comparing it to Shiba Inu, and, the folks over at Saitama came out and they made all of these big promises, and people were thinking that they weren't going to be able to deliver. But what I've seen so far is that Saitama, Russ, and the whole community has put their best foot forward every single step of the way. And they have made good on so many of their promises that I think if you look back and you see some of that FUD that was being spread, they've had an answer to almost every single thing that was being said about them. So I have a lot of respect to the Saitama team. I think this token is going to do very well as we continue to see them develop their ecosystem. Obviously, Saitamask, there was a little bit of hiccups, but notice how they were very vocal with the community. Every single step of the way, they were telling us in the community what's going on, the problems that they're facing, and how they are going to fix those problems. In the meantime, they did decide to announce Saitarealty. I want to play that. Yeah, me too. They did announce Saitarealty. And, there were some people in the community that were a little bit disappointed with the fact that they announced Saitarealty while Saitamask was having all of those issues. But to me, I thought that it was a reasonable play. And the reason I say that is because to me, it was like, okay, they have Saitamask, it's having a little bit of problems, but at the same time, they are still going to be delivering. And we know, and the other thing that people don't notice is that Saitarealty was going to launch on Saitamask, is going to launch on Saitamask. So regardless of the way you look at it, Saitamask would have to be 100% operational prior to Saitarealty releasing to begin with. So for me, I didn't mind the fact that they came out and said, hey, we are working on Saitarealty as well as Saitamask, because I knew by the time Saitarealty was on the scene, Saitamask, no matter what, was also going to be foolproof. So I love the Saitama team. I think they have a bright future, and I think they're competing very well in the crypto space right now.
Love it, man. Absolutely. I mean, 110% agree there. And you guys know I've been holding Saitama for goodness, almost, what is it now? 8 months or so since July. Yeah, somewhere around there. But when they did announce it again, I just don't think it wasn't the perfect timing. Don't get me wrong. But guess what? Everything fell into place. Saitamask, I'm glad they got Saitamask functioning and working at 100% capacity prior to the launch of Saitarealty. Because that was the whole thing with the whole Lily situation, right? It was that Saitamask was just, time after time, they were just having so much trouble with it. But I'm so glad and I'm really happy for the team that everything is figured out and functioning as it should. So this is the official press release that they sent out on February 9th. pretty much just discussing Saitarealty. For some of you, you might not even know what is Saitarealty and what is this new token that is coming out, because I do believe this is going to be big. So it says here again, they start saying thank you for your patience with Saitamask, but again, specifically when I talk about Saitarealty token. So the Saitama team would like to formally announce and share a sneak peek of Saitarealty. This new token will form part of the Saitama ecosystem and will take real world real estate to the Web 3. Saitarealty will be available exclusively on Saitamask only, and we'll be releasing additional information on launch soon. Please stay tuned for the YouTube live announcement, where we will share more about Saitarealty token and the utility. And the big thing that you got to realize, right, is we know what is the product of successful launches. We know what is the product of overhyped launches. And Saitarealty, just because, again, this community has 320,000 holders. 300, I'm probably mistaking here. How many holders? 334,000 holders currently in Saitama. The Twitter page for Saitarealty, upon release within the only 2 weeks now, 13,400 followers. Those aren't numbers that we can overlook, folks. And I do believe, again, now that Saitamask is fully functioning, this could be a huge token launch opportunity for people to take advantage of. I wish I could say today's live stream is sponsored by Saitama, but I'm just a big fan, and just wanted to talk about this big token with a big community. So I think what Saitarealty could do is what Lily Finance would have done on the day of launch and sustain that. So you guys can take that however you want, but that's just kind of my 2 cents on it. And the interesting thing is we don't really 110%, because they have their white paper that they just released. And to be honest, I haven't really done too much research about it, because as I said, I thought maybe it was virtual real estate, but they're talking about physical real estate here and bringing a crypto project to kind of show that. So I kind of want to get your take, Meta, because what I see this as is potentially diversifying outside of crypto in case the crypto space has a bear market. Having a real estate token that is attributed to the real estate market, I think that might be kind of interesting. So what's your take on all this, man?
Yeah, I mean, I know they had an AMA recently. I did not get a chance to join it. Listen in, but I did go through the white paper. And I guess I can answer this 2 ways. One from like looking at it as an investor, and then I can look at it from a community point of view. The community point of view, I think it's pretty dope. Like I think they're doing really cool things. They're getting more creative in ways to bridge crypto and blockchain with the real world and cause it to have an impact. Like in addition to investing for returns, they're also investing to create affordable housing, housing for homeless veterans as well. For example, a lot of initiatives on that end. I think that's really great. I think it's a great way to use to play with the tokenomics and kind of have those kind of things. When I do look at it from an investor point of view, I'm not quite sold yet, and it might just be because it's still pretty early on. I'm sure there's a lot of information, but I did catch a few things. One of the things they said is that they invest in real estate. Sorry. Okay. Life is contagious. But anyways, the way they make money is that they invest in real estate, right? But what I did see is that they don't use leverage, which is fine. I personally don't use leverage. I don't use loans. But then that takes away from getting higher returns and getting profits for users. And then real estate is a long-term play. Like you got to invest in it. You got to go develop the land. You got to go build on it. You got to go get people on board and get people on board. And then eventually, at some point you'll have tenants. But I think one thing that I did see that they said was that their plan is to buy property that's already at 90% capacity as well. So it's already like you're buying a property and you're getting rent money ASAP. So I think that's something I do appreciate. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of tax implications. I don't know what tax is going to look like for either token holders or for whatever the corporation ends up being. But earlier I mentioned, there's something that I didn't appreciate was that I don't fully understand what the investment strategy is. Like what geography are they going to be looking at property for? How will decisions be made? I know, I think I saw that one of the lead people Russell was an investor at Berkshire Hathaway. So does he have all of the control in terms of where you're going to invest, or is it going to be some kind of thing where if you're a token holder, they'll have a vote and you can vote yes, or like they're going to bring a proposal up to you with their diligence plan, and then they'll vote if it's a go or no go, for example. I think that there's a lot of information there that's kind of missing that I would really like to see, just to really understand like what is the game plan. And by understanding the game plan, it will show me that they're like more serious about it, that they've really put a lot of thought into it, and it's not just a bunch of hype and talk. That there's actual strategy behind it. And I mean, it seems like it is. This is just the initial white paper, so I'm excited to see what else they release and what else they talk about. And wish I did not miss the AMA. I'm sure they might have answered a bunch of these questions for sure. But that's kind of my first initial thoughts there.
Yeah, and again, what I'm doing is I'm actually on the white paper right now, and it says the Saitarealty ecosystem. So there's commercial land development. They're looking into business complexes, homes, multifamily. It's so interesting to me because I'm just trying to figure out how do you couple real estate and crypto? Because I know there has been other projects, if I'm not mistaken, that have attempted to do this. So if Saitama could figure out the way to do it, I really do think that this could be pretty big, for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's so interesting, especially because you guys, for some of you, you might not all know, but some of you might know that, I'm starting to get into real estate myself, just learning the market a little bit, understanding it, speaking to real estate agents. So this is something that definitely sparks my interest, not only because I think it's going to be a really successful and big launch in terms of, for those of you just looking for a potential swing trade, could be an easy money opportunity if you get in at the right time. But otherwise, also maybe for a long-term hold, if they're going to help me, diversify my personal portfolio. Because you've heard of REITs, right? Or maybe we can discuss REITs a little bit. The investment trusts, the real estate. I don't know the exact. Let's see, REIT. Real estate. What is it? Real estate investment trust. Yeah. Okay. So I kind of think this is getting maybe getting at a REIT from a crypto standpoint, because a real estate investment trust is a company that owns in the most cases or operates. Wait, sorry, I'm gonna reread that because I'm still looking from the left. But a real estate investment trust is a company that owns and in most cases operates income producing real estate. REITs own many types of commercial real estate, including office and apartment buildings, warehouses, hospitals. So again, I think when you look at like overall REIT, because what's that one? Fundrise, right? That's a REIT.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one that's been all
it's where
over.
a bunch of people come in and like put $100 or $1,000, whatever it is, and then they take that money and they go invest it in property, and then they pay you back rent money essentially. So it's a way for you to really, like, you as an individual might not be able to go buy, a big shopping mall for $10 million, but you crowdsource and you get like a ton of people. You guys can all buy the shopping mall, and then everyone gets their pro rata, like their portion of the total amount.
Gotcha. Yeah. So I don't know if that's kind of what they're getting at or what exactly, but again, hopefully. So. Yeah, you think so? He said.
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. I think this is kind of an opportunity to mesh crypto with real estate, which is a super interesting take that the folks over at Saitama are doing. I think this is kind of a way to bridge that gap, and even Saitamask, it was always the mission of Saitama and Russ to really bridge the gap. With Saitamask, it was supposed to be for education, allowing people that historically don't really invest in cryptocurrency to be able to educate themselves and invest in a way that's safe for them. And I think with this whole Saitarealty, it's a way for crypto investors now to get into real estate, which historically, that might not be something that they did. So I think it's super interesting what they're doing. I'm not sure if this is going to be classified as a security, if they're guaranteeing any type of return on investment. So I think they're going to have to be a little bit careful with that in their definition of how they're going to return the investment to the people that are investing in Saitarealty. But if I'm not mistaken, I think the way that they're going to do it is through the tokenomics. A little bit of the token is going to be on every transaction is going to be taken to a marketing and development wallet. And then they're going to use those funds in order to purchase plots of land or real estate. And then they're going to be able to pay back investors through whatever means those real estate plots of land or apartment complexes or houses, whatever it might be. However, those are returning on investment, they'll be able to pay back investors in Saitarealty. I think that's the way they're doing it. So it is like a REIT. I think it's exactly like a REIT, just kind of bridging crypto with real estate.
For me, I'm also going to be cautious because the real estate environment right now is also pretty intense. Like pricing has been going up a lot. I don't think it's going to come crashing down, but there is that risk as well. Like, you know, they could invest in property and, you know, something might happen, but I don't think it's that big of an issue, especially if they're kind of focused on collecting rent money and not as much. Because I think price appreciation is more of a longer term thing. But if you're able to like secure rent and pay back dividends, I think that's fine. But that's something else to be mindful of as well.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm sure, you know, Russ is a really smart guy, and his whole team is built up of people that have been in the space for a long time. So I'm sure they have a lot of these things ironed out, and they probably, like you said, mentioned a lot of these things on the AMA that I wasn't able to attend. But I'm sure as the token gets closer and closer to release, we're going to get a lot more clarity as to the direction. And like you said, geography is going to be very important. I mean, are they going to be buying plots of land and real estate in the heart of Chicago or the middle of Montana? That makes a big difference. So I think as we start getting closer to launch, I think those things are going to become more and more clear.
I like it. And I'm looking at the roadmap right now a little bit, the physical assets that they're looking to acquire. So this is acquire established commercial real estate for short-term ROI, medium-term, and they have long-term plans too. So that's at least good that they're looking at the 3 different tiers. But yeah, community development. I think this is going to be something really big. But again, I want to be a part of it for sure. Just learning as they go. But
I think it has the potential to be huge. I mean, absolutely massive in my opinion. And it's just going to be based off of whether or not they can make good on some of these promises. But again, it's like we saw very early on with a lot of these other crypto assets. I mean, if you would have told me that Shiba Inu was going to hit a $15 billion+ market cap back in like January of last year, I would have laughed in your face. You know what I mean? But sometimes you look at these projects and they have a dedicated team, and you start to realize that maybe they are going to make good on all of these promises. And that makes it so that these things just have tremendous upside potential. But again, it is based off of whether or not some of these things come to fruition. And that's going to require some patience.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. One other thing I wanted to touch on before we kind of moved on and maybe took some audience questions, because guys, if you have questions, please feel free to ask. Really appreciate everybody's feedback. People are saying solid show. That was from Jazz Royce right here. The show is real solid. Thank you, man. It's just, 3 guys just trying to have fun and discuss things like, mean tomato tokens and stuff like that. So I don't know. I haven't laughed like that in a while. So that felt really good. Anywho, one last thing before we move on. Multi-token ecosystems. Because I don't know how I feel about them, to be honest. Shiba Inu was the first introduction to such a thing. And it's just, to me, it's becoming like a balancing act. How do we bring utility to this one so that one doesn't fail? How do we bring it? I feel like you can just create one central token, make it multi-layered, kind of like, today I just made a video on Zombie Inu, free plug for them. We talked about how they're just bringing everything to the token instead of creating this, this multiverse and everything that they're doing. They're just bringing it all into one entity. And I feel like even for this real estate portion, it could be, I don't know, percentage of the allocation, because this is a $1 billion project, right? Saitama is a token. Shiba Inu, a multi-billion dollar project. So I feel like with these new tokens, new assets coming into the ecosystem, I don't know if I'm a big fan of them, to be honest. I would actually say I'm probably not. So yeah, what are you guys' takes?
I think every project, every ecosystem, I love Rigger's voice. I'm sure I'd love your voice if I could hear it. I think every ecosystem and every project is a little bit different. But when it comes to Shiba Inu, we want to be able to control the narrative, right? We want to be able to tell our story. And so when it comes to giving utility to SHIB, I understand the difficulties in that because SHIB is already such a massively adopted token. It's all over centralized exchanges. There are people that are holding massive amounts of SHIB. And in that sense, the development team has no control over those people with those massive wallets. On the other hand, if you have Bone, which is the governance token, which is slowly getting into circulation, or Leash that has a very, very low circulating supply, you can control the narrative a little bit more. And in that sense, I understand why they need to release multiple tokens, because each of them has their own use case and utility. So I like how the Shiba Inu ecosystem is set up. And I think if other teams and other projects adopt that type of system, I think it'll work well.
One thing I think about is I wonder if it's positive in the sense that it helps mitigate risk in the sense of like hacks or whatever it may be. If you like spread it out across different areas instead of like holding one huge market cap token or whatever, it's kind of spread out a little bit across different areas. Maybe that helps. We're still kind of in the early infancy of this whole blockchain ecosystem. You can see a situation where there's a bunch of hacks happening. So maybe from that point of view, it's not bad. Maybe it's good that it kind of diversifies the risk a little bit there.
Definitely. No, I got this little breaking news thing from all these cyber attacks, and because you talked about hacks and things like that. So I'm gonna deviate a little bit for a second, but what's your take on what's happening with, obviously we know what's going on with Russia and Ukraine, unless you're living under a rock or, meat around the potatoes, I guess. But real talk, cybersecurity and security hacks that are currently occurring in the market, how that's going to affect the crypto space. Because I think it's scary, man, because a lot of us are keeping a lot of our funds just on these cold or hot storage wallets, right? We keep them on our cell phones. And with everything that's happening right now, that's the biggest threat to the United States. It's not even, physical, but more of these cyber attacks instead. Yeah, I kind of want to know what you guys think. I don't know. It's not good.
Yeah. No, I think, this is, given like rules, it's still early on in terms of the adoption curve of crypto in general. So you're going to find people, bad actors trying to take advantage of what's going on. But I think it's only a matter of time before we see new technology, new things being deployed that help us mitigate that risk. And I'm talking more about like insurance. So this isn't an area that you can see a lot of insurance on, for example. For example, my Wells Fargo account is FDIC insured for $250,000, for example. So
right,
if I have $1,000 in there and something happens to it, I'm insured automatically. That's not the case for my MetaMask wallet. If something happens, then hey, like I'm out. Whatever money I have, it's unfortunate. You can't really do anything about it. But if there's a way to get insurance involved in a way where you pay a small premium, kind of like for your car, you pay a little bit for your car every month. Something happens to it, you're able to get paid out. I think that's one way to kind of help mitigate the risk with insurance. And I'm sure we'll see that starting to come up. I think like I've seen it already happening. Like I've seen various examples of it, but it's still, there's still a lot of risk with it as well. But I think as time goes on, we're going to see a lot of these people innovating in this area for sure. And yeah, so one side of it is obviously insurance. Other is general security as well. Just making sure, like what we saw happen with Lily, for example, the contract address was public. If you looked at the code source, and I don't know exactly what happened down there. I don't know the technical side of it. But there's learnings every day, so like learnings, understanding how to make things more secure, make it better. And I think with time, hopefully, it works out. Can't say for sure, but I think we give it some more time, and I think it might work out. I do. I think I'm very bullish on crypto in general, and I think all these issues will be resolved at one point. But the other thing is that I forgot to mention is when you look at these different projects in general, there's Bitcoin, Ethereum, whatever it is. There's the VB mentioned the trilemma, the crypto I forgot what exactly it's called, but the trilemma. It's where you have two things, but and the risk of one thing. So for Bitcoin, it's scalability, security, and speed. Bitcoin is very scalable and it's secure, but it's not speedy. It's not fast. Ethereum, on the other hand, I believe it's quick and it's scalable but not secure. Something along those lines where it's like there's always an offset. So I think we just need to like see what check out. Like I think I just got to be bullish. I need to do more research on what protocols are out there available. But it's whoever can really get those three together is what might end up winning: security, speed, and scalability. Sorry, I kind of went off on a tangent there, but
No, that's that's a good point, man. You're bringing up some solid things. Anything that comes out of VB's mouth, man, it's gold, including Shiba Inu. So, how about you, Rigger? What's your thoughts on this whole cybersecurity attacks that we're anticipating from Russia, and right now it's started occurring in the Ukraine? That's what my CNN message said. It said key websites are down. So Ukraine hit by cyber attacks. Key websites are down following a series of attacks targeting the government. U.S. officials had warned a hack could accompany Russian military action.
So do you mean what do I think in the context of cryptocurrency, or
like,
in the context of like tensions that are rising overseas?
I mean, tensions, sure, but I think what I kind of want to hear about is how could this potentially impact crypto holders in the United States? Because we know crypto is kind of a hot thing right now in Russia too, with Putin
Right.
coming out and making his statements. Oh yeah, we're not banning this thing, we love it. But
Right.
yeah, kind of want your take.
Yeah, I think in the context of cryptocurrency, unfortunately, cryptocurrency is in its infancy right now, and a lot of the things, and I think Meta got this right. A lot of what we're seeing right now in terms of hacks is due to the fact that people aren't educated on how to protect their crypto assets. And so I think as time goes on and people educate themselves as to how to be safe and secure when it comes to cryptocurrency, we're going to see less and less of that. And in that sense, I think as of right now, the fact that it is so early and it is a little bit risky right now, it's alienating people. And whenever you hear about these hacks and you hear about people losing their funds and all these things, it makes people skeptical about cryptocurrency, and it makes it so that they don't want to invest. And so I think that's what's going to allow us to bridge that massive gap right now between people. And if you just talk to people, just literally just go out there and just talk to some people, talk to them about cryptocurrency, and the first thing that they will always say is that they are afraid of the lack of security. And that's because they just aren't educated on just how secure cryptocurrency can be. If it's your keys, it's your crypto. And even then, there are ways that hackers tend to circumvent some of those things with like dusters and stuff like that. So it's all just so new. And so, as time goes on, like Meta said, I think we will get better and better at this, at protecting the investors, at securing people's wallets. But as of right now, there are some tips and tricks that you can take. Obviously, there's risk with leaving your funds on a centralized exchange that are more prone to hacks versus a wallet like a MetaMask wallet versus a ledger like a cold storage wallet. And there are different levels of security depending on how much you trust yourself to remember your keys, for example, or write them down somewhere. And even that, some people say, hey, if I write down my keys physically, then somebody could potentially come and steal those. So there's just so much. It's just so new right now, and so it's going to take time. But as time goes on, I think, like Beta said, we are going to get better and better at this, but it is going to require some patience. But I hope we get to a point where people feel safe enough to where that sense of lack of security isn't preventing them from getting into cryptocurrency. Because I think for a lot of people, it truly is.
And I want to add one more thing, and I think this is actually really, really important. If we want to see parabolic growth across crypto overall, I think security is going to be huge. I think we need to get, I know I keep throwing the word institutional investors out there, but I think if we can really have crypto become a secure area where the risk is low in terms of losing, your principal, whatever it may be, I think we need to have methods of having insurance. Because when we see institutional investors coming in, because like last year, the growth was insane for crypto. It outperformed the S&P, outperformed any other market out there. If we can make sure it's secure to the point where pension funds, hedge funds, like where your money in your 401k it goes allocated, if it all comes flowing into crypto, you're going to see a lot more buying power coming in. And as a result, the prices are all just going to skyrocket. Everything's going to skyrocket because you're going to see a bunch of new people coming in. So right now, it's people like me and you throwing our paychecks into these different coins, and into different crypto. But when you see the big money coming in, that's when you see them demand really skyrocketing, and you see it all doing like incredible performance. So I think once we see the security thing get solved, I think growth is just like, we haven't even started. This is just the beginning.
Definitely. And so for these institutional investors, do you ever foresee, because I think institutional investors, yes, there's some positives, but I feel like at the same time, there's a lot of negatives that come with it, right? Because that's one thing that's affecting the stock market, right? You have hedge funds and institutional investors coming in that will short the market, right?
Mhm.
And create a lot of selling pressure because they have the buying power to do so. They can start selling off, lower market cap, not multi-billion, but maybe in the millions, even a couple $100 million market cap stock out there. They're
Yep.
able to short it to the point where it just significantly drops in price. And what they do is to manipulate the market, buy the dip,
Yeah.
and get back in. So I don't know. Do you
Oh yeah.
do you think that?
Go ahead.
Yeah, no. In terms of the buying power, because I do agree. Big money
Yeah.
coming in is huge, right? We love whales. We embrace them.
Yep.
Like that's a good thing. But sometimes it can lead to a lot of manipulation in the market, which ends up hurting people like us, the small fish,
No,
right?
I
So-
agree. I don't think I think once everyone starts coming in, there's gonna be a lot more issues. And like crypto started off not being that. It was not supposed to be correlated with the markets. Like if Russia was moving into Ukraine, crypto should have been affected a lot because you're not seeing traditional investors pulling money out of fear. Like you're just seeing us holding tokens, or whatever. But like even today, like the markets are reacting like very close to what world events are. So it means that we already are seeing institutional investors in there. It will just get worse, I guess, once institutional investors get even bigger because they are, unless there's a lot of them that are holding long term because they don't want to pay short term tax rates. But yeah, no, I agree with you. I think once they all kind of get involved, we lose a little bit more of that community driven impact that we do have today as well. But hopefully, at least there's more transparency, though. Hopefully, like you're able to see all this, like everything everyone's doing. Like like all those like big companies like BlackRock, whatever. You don't know what they're doing. If you're able to like find out their wallet on the blockchain, you can see exactly what their transaction and knowing exactly what they're doing. I don't know if that's gonna be possible. That'd be pretty interesting as well to like have clarity. Like who shorted this, who did that, and so forth.
Yeah, with wallet tracking and what people are capable of, I'm sure their
Yeah.
wallets, even if they want it to be private, they'll get public because that kind of money you're pushing, it's going
Exactly.
to become pretty mainstream pretty quick. So that's a good point. Then you can have transparent manipulation showing the world
Exactly.
with these. I do like that. I do like that
Yeah.
for sure. Cool, man. Awesome. Well, guys, we hit our hour. It was honestly a really good time. Had some good laughs. And I don't know, we're learning each and every day, right? This is our first stream and we'll see where we're going to take it. But hey, we'll be back here Sunday evening at 7:30 Central Standard Time. It's going to be our typical streaming time. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you smash the like button. Also consider subscribing. We're growing slowly but surely. Rigor, Meta, you guys have anything to lead us off with?
No, I appreciate everyone being here. I will add, if you guys are interested about the whole Shiberse, Metaverse platform, I just released a video out about this other kind of Metaverse, but it's interesting to see how it works where you have a land and you're able to develop it. So I recommend you guys go check that out. But other than that, I appreciate everyone being here. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. And for those of you who are wondering, yes, we all have our respective YouTube channels. So if you guys want to go check out Your Pop, Rigor Mortis, everything Meta, he was the one who kind of just signed us off. He's focused a lot on the metaverse. So if you're interested in the things we discussed today, virtual real estate, anything like that, he has a pretty fantastic channel with over 600 subscribers already. He's only been around for not even about 2 months now, right? End of mid-December. Yep. So let's go ahead and get that subscriber number up. And again, guys, remember, smashing the like button now means more people to see the video, hopefully, after it goes live on YouTube. So appreciate you guys. Rigor Mortis, you got anything to sign off with, my man?
No, nothing really to add. Just thank you everybody for tuning in. Hopefully these live streams become more and more frequent in the future. And of course, we will have people that come on. We did have some problems with Dr. Vile today. I guess he just wasn't able to figure out his microphone, but hopefully in the future, if he wants to come on and talk about Mean Tomato in the future, we'll be more than happy to have him on so that he can give his 5-minute talk. So yeah, don't worry, you guys, in the comments. We're seeing you guys, talking about Dr. Vile and bringing him back on. Hopefully in the future we can get his audio figured out, and we'll be sure to bring him on. So thanks everybody for tuning in.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
I'm gonna
really
go.
fun.
I was gonna say I'm gonna go ahead and try to win that first place on the Mean Tomato game.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, huge shout out to me, Tomato. Thank you guys for sponsoring today's video. It's been phenomenal. You guys in the audience, thank you, especially for the tomato shillers. I love to see it, man. It
real.
excites me because I see the fact that communities are coming together to get the word out there about their token, to get their word out there about their communities, which that's what it's all about. I mean, crypto is crypto because of that, right? You could do whatever you want with it, and nobody's there to stop you. So, gotta love it. And we'll be back to Sunday. I was gonna say tomorrow. Maybe one day we'll become a daily live stream platform, but with the market being red, not many people are looking at crypto content. But hey, you guys did, so you're trying to make better with your choices and investments, and hopefully again you learned something. That's all we try to give you, is just a piece of education. Appreciate you guys. Thank you all so much for tuning in, and until next time, everybody, keep investing. Peace.